Jack? Where's Jack? Where is he? Jack, I want to see you. Great job, Jack. Thank you. What a job you do. You know, we have an incredible thing. We're always talking about the fake news and the bad, but we have guys, and these are the guys who should be getting Pulitzers.
All right, Jack Posobiec, we're back live here, Human Events Daily, Washington, D.C., and we're talking about this preview of the Anchorage Accords, as we've dubbed this here at Human Events. Wanted to bring on Matt Boyle now from Breitbart News, who just conducted an incredible interview, round robin, with President Trump. Want to bring him on now. Matt, how are you?
Jack, how are you, sir? Yeah, we spent a lot of time with President Trump in Scotland at his golf resort, Turnberry, and I can tell you he is very focused on trying to reach peace deals and trade deals. And that was the big stuff we talked about. Right before we sat down, he had succeeded in getting the unconditional immediate ceasefire between Cambodia and Thailand. And then the evening before, he got the big trade deal, the biggest trade deal in world history and currently in the world anywhere, between the U.S. and the European Union with Ursula von der Leyen there. And he's since rolled out a trade deal, of course, with Korea, South Korea. And I know he's very focused on, and he just got the peace deal between Armenia and Azerbaijan. I think that he is very focused on trying to end this. This is the big one, right? Like ending the war in Ukraine. This is a war that Joe Biden's responsible for. Kamala Harris was, of course, over there saying crazy things in the lead up to this. And I believe that it is ultimately within reach. So we'll see as the talks continue here, as the meeting between these two leaders goes forward. But Trump and Putin meeting, this is a huge step towards ending the war in Ukraine.
And I believe we actually have a clip of you with President Trump talking about China.
Sure.
Getting along very well with China. The trade deal so far is good. I actually raised the tariffs. At one point they were 145%, which means you can't do any business. But it was a little bit excessive, to put it mildly. And basically that stopped trade between the United States and China for 1 month. And that was not good for China. That was, they had a tough period of time. We're having very productive discussions with China. That's all I can tell you. It's a little bit different. The China is different. The European, interestingly, is the biggest trading deal, but the China is very important.
And there you go, Matt. So it's exactly as you were saying. This is all about the geopolitics of trade and really looking, I think, at the implications of, as we've always said, President Trump's a businessman. He's looking at all of this from the perspective of, does this help the Americans with the average American family when it comes to their prosperity, their wealth, the price of goods, trade, all of it?
Yeah, and I think that the big picture here is this is all about the U.S. and China. Where we stand in the 21st century here is that the Cold War has been over for decades between the United States and the old Soviet Union, which is broken up. The Berlin Wall came down. The foreign policy establishment here in the United States has been still fighting the Cold War for decades longer than after we won it. The question is can we effectively change our focus from Russia to China? And China as our greatest adversary. That being said, that doesn't mean that we have to be confrontational with China, right? Like in much the same way you're seeing with Trump meet with Putin, the broader clip there, beyond the part that you played there, I had asked the president if he's willing to meet with Xi Jinping. There have been talks about President Trump possibly going to China, or Xi coming to the White House or somewhere else. He mentioned that all of those things are on the table, that he's willing to go to China, that he's willing to host Xi at the White House or to meet him somewhere else in between, but that he emphasized that it is China that is asking for that meeting. It's not America, right? Like, it's not the United States. Trump isn't clamoring for a meeting with China. It's the Chinese that are clamoring for a meeting with Trump because Trump has all the leverage. And then that gets to when I interviewed Secretary Bessent at our event in Washington, D.C., Secretary Bessent told me that the world is with us now. right? Because what Trump has done is he has pulled together a coalition of the free world, if you will. He's united the more than 60% of world gross domestic product with the deals that he's pulled together with Japan and the European Union and the United Kingdom. Obviously, we had done that interview with President Trump in Scotland, but with Korea, with Indonesia, the Philippines, Vietnam. So what's happening is that they've pulled together basically a coalition of the willing in the West against in the free world against the communist world. And so the rest of the world is with the United States right now. And this is exactly what we predicted would happen when you go back to Liberation Day in April. All the globalists and the Wall Street Journal crowd and the Wall Street crowd, they were all freaking out about the tariffs. Well, what's happened is that they've been proven wrong and President Trump has been proven right, which is that, and this is another thing that I asked the president about, which is that, do you think the critics have egg on their face now? And he said that many of them have already apologized to him. And you've seen the Wall Street Journal come out and admit that President Trump was right on this and that he has pulled together, or at least some of them have admitted that. Not all of the people that work there, but I think their editorial board ran something saying that Trump is winning his trade war. But the thing is that what he's done is he's pulled together a global coalition here. And that means that the United States has all the cards. And I will tell you this, this isn't from the part of the interview that we aired, but we had a lot of time with President Trump. We hung out with him for a little bit before, a little bit after the interview. I can tell you, he's somebody who knows, as a guy who wrote The Art of the Deal, who knows how to negotiate. He knows, and he knew in the moment when we were talking to him that he has the cards. He's got the leverage. You hear him talk about this with regard to Zelensky, right? Like in the Russia-Ukraine situation, he's like, you don't have the cards, right? Like, remember that meeting, the blow up in the Oval Office? He said to Zelensky, you don't have the cards. He's saying he doesn't have the leverage. Well, Trump knows that the United States has the cards, as the leverage that we've never had before because of what President Trump has been able to pull together here with using the economic might of the United States. Peace through strength was a core part of the Reagan doctrine, but the strength that Reagan used was military strength. It was military might. What President Trump has done in his first term, he started this, and now in his second term, he's really fleshing it out. He's using the economic might of America in addition to the military might of America that we saw under Reagan to truly implement peace through strength. And this is why you're seeing peace deals around the world, from India and Pakistan to Rwanda and Congo to Azerbaijan and Armenia to Cambodia and Thailand. Again, he's using the economic might of the United States to accomplish a better world. And this was the biggest thing that I asked him about. I was like, what does the world look like? What does America look like when you're done and America's great again, right? Like, and he said at the end of the interview, he said it's a more peaceful world and a more peaceful country where people can prosper. I'm paraphrasing him here, of course, but the point is that that seems to be the bigger picture goal here. So hopefully, as President Trump enters this summit with Vladimir Putin in Anchorage, the Anchorage Accords, as you call them, that they're able to reach an agreement. And this is something that everybody in the political establishment, the foreign policy establishment, did not think was possible, but it does appear within reach as the two leaders head there. So we'll see. Cautiously optimistic here that this will be a huge step in the right direction.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I mean, when you look at some of this, the biggest piece of what Trump could do in terms of pivoting America and the American foreign policy jurisprudence, American military strategy, et cetera, towards China would be affecting basically a reverse Kissinger. And a reverse Kissinger, of course, would be affecting a Sino-Soviet split, whereby rather than sidling up with the Chinese, like Kissinger did in the Nixon administration with Nixon's great visit to China, what you would instead affect is get America and Russia to be then aligned. Maybe you're not going to get the Russians to be hostile to China in that sense, but maybe drive a wedge between them and the rest of the BRICS nations. And when you look at what President Trump's been doing with the tariffs, it's obvious. Look, India, Brazil, South Africa, okay? So he's going down the list of the BRICS with every letter other than China. So Brazil, India, South Africa, and then the next one is Russia, and then the final one would be China. That's the final piece of it. It's obviously his strategy. Final minute to you, Matt Boyle.
Yeah, and the thing I would say is that that's exactly what they're trying to do. I asked Secretary Rubio about this. I interviewed Secretary Rubio back in February at the State Department, and we did a huge, 30, 40-minute on-camera video interview, and people can go back and find it. I asked him exactly that question about, is this a reverse Nixon goes to China? Right? Like, this is Trump goes to Russia, Trump goes to Moscow. And that seems to be what's going on here. Now, it's taken a long time for the president to be able to get all the leverage to the point where he can get there. But that exactly is the strategy here. Now, they also deeply understand, Rubio gets this, President Trump gets it, Vice President Vance gets it. The whole team understands that Russia is never going to fully turn on China there, but they won't be a full junior partner of the Chinese Communist Party if the United States is successful here. So we'll see. But there's a lot of talk that there is a big economic component to the meeting heading into tomorrow. Like, for instance, the Russians took over an American company called Glav Product. I hear that's going to be on the agenda.
And that's why you see Bess and Trevin